In the world of mafia organized crime, there are few names that resonate as powerfully as that of Carlo Gambino.
In the world of organized crime, few names echo with as much quiet power as Carlo Gambino. Nicknamed Don Carlo, he was once mockingly referred to by Joe Bonanno as a man like a squirrel. But make no mistake, Gambino wasn't feared for violence. He built his empire not through brute force, but through strategy, patience, and silence. He wasn't the stereotypical loud and flashy mob boss. So who exactly was he? And how did he become one of the most powerful figures in American mafia history? To understand Carlo Gambino's life is to explore the dark interplay between loyalty, power, and survival. From his early days in Sicily to his rise in New York, his journey sheds light on the ruthless nature of organized crime and how to outlast it. Gambino was the kind of man who preferred the shadows. He avoided flashy displays and public attention, living so discreetly that even the FBI often struggled to track him. If you saw him on the street, you'd probably mistake him for a harmless old man. I met him once, as a child, when my father took me to his modest home in Maspeth. He was introduced to me simply as Mr. Gambino, polite, calm, and unassuming. We never did business, as he died in 1976, and I was officially inducted into the life in 1975. But everyone knew who he was. He led the most powerful crime family in the country, a family he built and ruled with unmatched control. Carlo Gambino was born in Palermo, Sicily, around August or September of 1902. His exact birth date remains uncertain. Raised in a world where the mafia was woven into everyday life, he grew up in a family deeply embedded in the criminal underworld. From a young age, he understood that survival depended on knowing whom to trust, an instinct that shaped his future. At 19, Gambino arrived in America, smuggled in among crates of lemons and olive oil. Immigration was a different beast back then, filled with barriers and hardships. But thanks to strong family ties, he quickly found his footing. By 1921, he had arrived in New York and wasted no time adapting to the criminal underworld, a skill that would later make him a formidable leader. In the 1920s, he served under the infamous mob boss Giuseppe Masseria, but it was Prohibition, the nationwide ban on alcohol, that truly transformed the American mafia. For Gambino, it was a golden opportunity. He made money and forged alliances through bootlegging during an era marked by brutal turf wars. In a world where rival gangs shot each other in the streets, Gambino's ability to survive and rise proved his strategic genius. When Prohibition ended, many mobsters lost direction. Gambino, on the other hand, pivoted. Using the wealth and contacts he had gained, he moved into other rackets. In 1937, at just 35 years old, he was arrested for tax evasion, his only conviction, and served a mere 22 months. For someone of his stature, it was practically a slap on the wrist. His low-profile lifestyle and cautious nature paid off again. During the 1940s, with law enforcement focused on World War II, organized crime flourished. Gambino's influence within the family grew. In 1951, the murder of the Mangano brothers left a power vacuum, which Gambino carefully filled, proving just how patient and calculating he could be. Albert Anastasia took the reins for a brief and turbulent period. Known for his volatility, Anastasia was everything Gambino was not. Rather than challenge him directly, Gambino bided his time. In 1957, Anastasia was famously gunned down in a barbershop, clearing the way for Gambino to take control. From that point on, he became known as Don Carlo, ushering in a new era of mafia leadership, marked by discretion, long-term planning, and reduced violence. Under his leadership, the Gambino family became the most powerful organized crime group in America. From drug trafficking to labor racketeering and illegal cargo operations at JFK Airport, the family had its hands in everything. Gambino even invested in legitimate businesses, giving him a respectable public image while laundering money behind the scenes. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Joe Bonanno, a rival boss, once plotted to kill Gambino and his allies. That plan fell apart thanks to a key betrayal. Joe Colombo, then a soldier, defected and warned Gambino and Lucchese. In return, Colombo was rewarded with his own family, an example of how loyalty and timing could change a man's fate in the mafia. There are timeless lessons to be drawn from Gambino's life. The most important? Patience. He understood the value of waiting for the right moment. He also showed that the quietest people are often the most dangerous. Power doesn't always wear a loud suit. Another lesson, the strength of connections. Gambino built a vast network of alliances, and his adaptability kept him ahead of shifting times and laws. Above all, he was a man of principles, at least by Mafia standards. He respected the code and never broke it. In his final years, Gambino retreated even further from the spotlight, but continued to run the family. He died of a heart attack in 1976 in his bed, at home, an extremely rare ending for someone of his status. By then, the FBI had turned more of its attention to the Mafia, and a new chapter was beginning. His successor, Paul Castellano, did not rule with the same wisdom or discretion. That decision led to internal unrest and opened the door for John Gotti, who would ultimately bring down much of what Gambino built. Gotti embraced fame, openly courted the media, and paid the price, spending the rest of his life behind bars. Had they followed Gambino's model of staying quiet and calculating, the American Mafia might have remained powerful for far longer.